Okay, so once more, welcome everybody, and this is our um, first plenary session for day 2, and it's on the special issues call from the different journal editors. Pleased to have Professor Stephen Nkubadayanga for the AAFA journal, and we have Professor Musa Mengena for corporate governance, the Institutional Journal of Business and Society, and Professor Venancio Tuarengana and myself, who are editors for the Advances in Environmental Accounting and Management. Professor Ven will speak to that. We have Professor Shazad Udim for Journal of Accounting in Emerging Economies, and Diogenes Babukados, Sylvia Gia, Philippe Lasso, and Professor Tiven would be speaking about the Accounting Forum special issue. And we have Professor Kelum Pawan, Stephen Nkubadayanga, and Tiven on the Journal of Public Budgeting and Accounting, Public Budgeting, Accounting, and Financial Management. So in this order, we will go. I will allow you speak for about 5 to 6 minutes. Tell us what your special issue is about and what options, what are the deadlines or specific things contributors to the journals should be aware of. And if you're happy to identify papers in this colloquium that fits into that, you're welcome to also share thoughts with people on how they can make submissions to the journal. Okay, in that order, I would like to invite Professor Stephen to go on to present to us what we have for the AAFA journal. Prof, over to you.
Thank you, Moses. I want to share a screen.
Yes, please, you can do that.
Yeah, this is accounting, African Accounting and Finance Journal of the African Accounting and Finance Association. Now, speaking is Professor Stephen Nkubadayanga, who is the editor of this journal. He can be contacted at that email indicated below, and he edits this journal together with an associate editor, Professor Philippe Lasso, who can always be contacted on this email. So this, everything you need about this journal, it can be found on this website. You can actually even go to the African Accounting and Finance Association homepage. You will find this link there, and you can always click on the AFJ, and it will take you direct to the journal. So everything you need about how to submit to the journal, how papers should be organized when you are sending to the journal. Generally speaking, all those submission requirements can always be found at this website. Important to note is that this is a journal which is the official journal of the AFA. I think all of us belong to this association. So we expect that this should invite everybody to submit to this journal, because this is our official journal, similar to others in the field of accounting, such as BAFA, you have got the American Accounting Association, and the like. It's a nascent journal, but which has received overwhelming support, and now we are preparing the 3rd volume of the journal. This journal is, as I have already said, it is published on the AFA website, and I would like to mention that this journal boasts of an editorial team of eminent scholars, most of whom are in this room. They are serious people, so you expect good reviews and guidance from these renowned scholars. the AFJ aims to publish high quality journal articles, and our focus is accounting and finance. So, for example, we may talk about auditing, assurance and assurance services, taxation, and the like. I think we also have to deal with the areas of finance, for example, corporate governance, financial structure, corporate restructuring, and so on. So if you have a paper that fits within the broad aims, then you should be able to actually send the paper to us, because our focus is actual accounting and finance. And we could also say at this moment that we also encourage interdisciplinary journals, but majorly which will touch on accounting and finance issues. Now, one of the best, one of the important features of this journal is that whenever we have to publish a paper, henceforth, it will be having an abstract that is both English and French. And I think this is an important feature and a plus for this journal we are embarking on. And going forward, in the future, we'll be having issues specifically dedicated to the French group, the French language. So this will, initially we will begin with the English and French when it comes to the abstract, but in the long-term vision of this journal is to have also French and English versions, dedicated issues. Now, as it is with other comparable journals, this journal or manuscript sent to this journal will always undergo blind reviews of 2 independent reviewers. But as you know, the efficiency and effectiveness will always depend on both these 2 people submitting, those authors submitting the papers and also the reviewers. What we are talking about is that the reviewers, the authors have an obligation to prepare the papers themselves, which are really suitable for evaluation by independent reviewers. So what this means that we don't encourage people to send papers which are not yet ready for review. So we think that once you are aiming at sending a paper to the AFJ, make sure it is your best. It is what you think is the best, such that you don't try and error with the journal. At the same time, the reviewers are also critical in this case, because you must always produce helpful comments to the authors submitting to this journal. So we could say, overall, that the AFA is an equal opportunity journal. It's compared with other journals, except that it is newer in the field. We also have in pipeline, we want special issues. And at this moment, I would want to invite editors, guest editors, to pick out topics which they think are capable of being published as the special issues in the AFJ to serve 2 purposes. For example, we want to alert the journal readers to the growing importance of the topics, to the growing importance of topical issues, summarizing what is known so far about such topics, and also to present the newest research. And normally, such newest researches are authored by a mix of upcoming academics, such as PhD students, the best and the brightest of the most recent generation of graduates and associate professors. At the same time, we also say that only scholars with successful publication records focused on accounting and finance are welcome to seek to becoming guest editors. Now, if you are interested in becoming a guest editor with your topic, please contact us at the indicated emails, the editor himself, and also my associate editor, Felipe. His email is also indicated. So I welcome questions about this journal for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Over
Professor
to you.
Stephen Nkubudanga. What I'll do now is to just let Professor Venancio.
Maybe Moses, I think Felipe, I would like Felipe to say something if he has something to say.
Absolutely.
Especially for the French audience.
Absolutely.
He's my
So,
guest, yeah.
Thank you. So, Philip, can you please say something about the journal and perhaps a summary of what Stephen has said to the French audience as well?
Okay. Thank you. Bonjour, chers collègues. C'est l'éditeur de la revue africaine de comptabilité et de finances qui vient de présenter la revue, qui est la revue officielle disons la première revue officielle de l'AFA, et qui actuellement est à son troisième volume, en cours là. Il essaie de nous faire comprendre que la revue nous appartient à nous tous et les soumissions à la revue et éventuellement aussi la cotation, disons la cotation de la revue par la suite dépend de la soumission que nous faisons, de la qualité de soumission que nous faisons et aussi de la collaboration entre les évaluateurs et les auteurs. Les auteurs doivent pouvoir soumettre des articles qui sont vraiment prêts à être soumis pour être publiés. Et ça, il ne faut pas juste soumettre quelque chose pour essayer de voir les commentaires que les évaluateurs vont produire. Il faut soumettre quelque chose qui est vraiment prêt pour être publié. Et les évaluateurs, puisque nous sommes tous un groupe, on ne peut que solliciter des gens qui sont disposés à évaluer les articles qui sont soumis. Donc, sollicite également la contribution des évaluateurs pour être disposés à le faire pour accompagner la revue. Les contacts emails sont également produits pour d'éventuelles questions. Également, si nous avons des personnes expérimentées en matière de rédaction pour être rédacteur invité, ils peuvent également contacter la revue avec le titre et leur proposition d'édition.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Philip. So I think that there's been a few hands for questions. What we've agreed is we would reserve all the questions till the end so we can take them. So if you just want to note down your questions so that the editors can make their presentation quickly within the time we have.
Okay, donc si vous avez des questions, attendez que tous les rédacteurs finissent et puis vous allez poser les questions et nous allons répondre tous. That's good.
Thank you, Philip. Merci. Professor Venn, up to you now.
It was Professor Musa next.
Yes, you're right. Professor Musa. Professor Musa, apologies. I think, yes, do you have any slides you'd like to share with us?
I don't have a slide, but I suppose I can share the special issue itself if I manage to. I was just wondering whether we have a job this year because of these technologies, which I'm not so much familiar with. Let me try. Oh,
it's working.
Am I sharing anything?
Yes, you're sharing.
Okay. You can see the special issue.
Yes.
Corporate governance and sustainability. Okay, thank you very much. But I can see something else here, which isn't that. I mean, we are glad here to share with you this special issue. What we entitle here is corporate governance and sustainability development goals in Africa. It's specifically focused on Africa, and with a special emphasis on corporate governance. This special issue, as you can see, is going to be published by Corporate Governance, the International Journal of Business in Society. And we appreciate them having agreed to this. There are 3 editors in this. One is myself. We also have Dr. Karim Sarua from Northumbria University. And we have got Dr. David Mashua from Strathmore University. So these are the 3 editors you may be dealing with should you decide to submit something to this special issue. But I think I have to emphasize here that when we designed this, we had AFA in mind as well. So this is important, and I'm hoping that many of you will submit papers to this special issue. Now, the whole idea about the special issue is to focus on the role of business, the role of companies in supporting the sustainable development in Africa. As you know, the UN in 2015 came up with some development, sustainable development goals, 17 of them. So we don't care which goals you go for, but we are hoping that you can be able to integrate some of them into the issues we are looking at here. So please do feel free to submit on any issues on sustainability development, but in particular involving corporate governance in it. So the purpose itself of the special issue, we are trying to encourage research here into these areas in Africa. Not only from an accounting perspective, there may be others, other disciplines who may be interested in doing something along the lines. Even though, as I said, we developed this with accounting AFA in mind, in particular AFA members. Unfortunately, I got to admit here, we never thought about doing this in French, mainly because we can't speak French ourselves. But I'm hoping that even French-speaking people who are able to submit in English can also submit in this. So there are a number of themes we identified, but these are not all inclusive. You can think about other related issues that you want to address. So there are a number of themes there, and obviously we didn't put everything that is possible because the journal limits the number of themes you can put in any special issue. But some of the themes are corruption. You can look at corruption and governance and how it's affecting the way businesses, for example, implement or engage with sustainability development initiatives in African countries or across countries. They don't have to be specifically in a specific country. You can go cross country. You can compare countries across Africa, how they are implementing. There are so many things that you can do. You can also look at how they report, for example, the initiative that they are engaging in, and the role of governance in that. So there are a number of things. One other interesting thing that we thought was you may also want to consider the effects of COVID-19 into the initiatives that the companies, businesses across Africa are engaging in particular, how this pandemic might have affected the way companies are engaging this initiative. I'm sure there must be implications for this, particularly in terms of investments into this area. Now, the special issue itself will open for papers, for submission in particular, on the 1st of July. You can't submit anything before that. So it will be opening on the 1st of July 2021 and closing on the 1st of November 2021. And we are expecting that the special issue will be published around June, July of 2022. So that's the plan. To support this, what we decided was we have a special workshop at the African Accounting and Finance Association in Egypt next year. Hopefully the pandemic will be over and we can all join that. So you've got an opportunity to submit papers that can be discussed at that conference to support the development. So if you do have any questions, if you want to understand how you can do that, you can particularly contact Karim and David on that. They will provide you with as much detail as they can. We are also thinking about potentially doing something else before September, which we can do online. I think online seems to be working, as you can see from this conference. So we might do something, but when we do, we'll send invite via AFA. Thanks for AFA for supporting this. So we'll send invite via AFA should something happen. The advantage, this is unusual for many papers, although it may be difficult for us. There is potential for many people to publish in this, because we can take up to 12 papers in this special issue. So there is an opportunity for if you look at the usual general requirements, we are looking for 5 to 7 papers, but we can take up to 12, which provides an opportunity for many of you who may have good ideas to publish into this journal. This is a good journal. So it will be good if you can really consider coming on board in this.
Thank you. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Prof.
So that's all. Yeah, that's all I can say for now. So should you have any questions, you can ask any of us. David is available, Karim is available, and I'm available to answer questions on that.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
There are questions already in the chat, but we'll deal with that later. Next, I will call on Professor Venn to present for advances in environmental accounting and management. Interestingly, we're both special issue editors for that one. So I will put up the slides and then Professor Venn will speak to them. Prof, is that okay? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've unmuted myself.
All
yeah,
right.
can
So
yeah, share the slide.
Let me just share the screen, and then you can just talk to it immediately. Yes.
Yeah, great. Greetings, delegates. My name is Venn Toringana. I'm a professor of accounting at University of Southampton. Our special issue is really on the environmental sustainability and Agenda 2030. We are specifically looking at the efforts, progress, and also prospects. So, although I am the editor of Advances in Environmental Accounting and Management, On this particular issue, I'm joined by Dr. Yinga Moses. So this Advances in Environmental Accounting and Management is now in its 10th volume. I started editing this on volume 8. The special issue, I think, was on environmental accounting and management in Africa. So last year there was another special issue on non-governmental organization accountability, I think. And next year, which is 2021, that's when we have this special issue. So this special issue opened in May, and as I will say later on, the closing date for this is December this year, and we are hoping to have accepted the papers by May next year. Specifically, we are looking at about 6 papers, and in terms of the word count, we are looking at, say, 6 to 10,000 words. So let me now go on to the specific issues we are looking at. So if you move on to the issues. So before I talk about the issues, again, let me give a brief history, well, background to this. Really, again, because we are focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals, which is Agenda 2030. I think the history to this, as Professor Mangena said, was that in September 2015, the United Nations adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which should be achieved by 2030. So for this specific issue, what we did was focus on those SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, that are to do with the environment. So we picked about 5 of them. So that's why our title is really on sustainable environmental sustainability and how they are linked into the achievement or the progress towards Vision 2030. So in terms of the particular areas we are looking at comparative assessment of developing and developing countries as far as how they've implemented the SDGs. We are also looking at assessment of corporate sustainability practice and use of energy. Other example, sustainable supply chain accountability and environmental management. Then corporate sustainability accounting and reporting, Green Climate Fund accountability. So as you can see, there are quite a wide range of areas from which you can choose. So what I would encourage you to do, given the time left, we are now in September, so there's still 4 months left until 31st December. So there's still time that you can choose any of this topic. And what I would encourage you to do is to make early contact with the editors, that is Dr. Yinga Moses and myself, and see whether your title is appropriate. And if it's appropriate, then we'll make, we'll endeavor to the best of our ability really to help you to come up with something which is acceptable, because we have done that before with previous issues whereby some people were struggling, and then we managed to mentor them and help them until their papers were accepted. If you look at the volume 8, I think there was a paper there that was published from a master's thesis, and that was on water sustainability in South Africa. So which just goes to show that we really care about you publishing. So this topic is really, anyone can publish this from any continent, so including Africa. So I would really encourage you to make contact after this conference, and then we can assess whether your topic falls within the realm of what we are trying to publish next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. And that will take us to the next presentation, which is by Professor Shehzad Uddin for Journal of Accounting in Emerging Economies. Prof, are you able to speak now? I think I should unmute you from my end. Yes. Now you can speak.
Yeah, very good morning. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to this audience, which I can see almost 105 participants. And I'm assuming they're African researchers either living in Africa or African researchers living in somewhere else. So all good morning to everyone. So present this journal. This is obviously, I hope that a lot of you know about this journal. I'm going to try share the screen if I can. Let me.
Yeah, you should be able to. Just let's see.
Do I have this? I don't want to share my confidential email in the process, so
yeah.
Avoid. Okay. Okay, let's forget about it. Okay, so let me go to sort of some of the main issues that in the journal we consider important. So 2 things for this journal is important is the article has to be on accounting. Basically, one has to contribute to the accounting literature, and articles have to be on emerging economy. And I think most of the African countries are within that criteria. Sometimes we receive articles from Greece, for instance, but we don't publish them. So we have to quickly point out this is something we don't consider as emerging economy. So we basically follow a loose definition what is emerging economy, a definition of where if the article is not from Western countries, then we usually consider that as emerging economy. So transitional economies are also included. So this journal has been around. Inka, could you unshare your thing, because I cannot see everyone. Usually, why you are?
Is my screen still being shared?
For some reason, I see you as a kind of big face in my screen.
Oh, I think it's how you've set your own. So you can go to set speaker view, and then you can choose who you want to see.
Right. Okay. Thank
on
you.
the right top hand corner of your screen.
See almost everyone. Thank you very much.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying, this journal has been around for a long time. It used to be called Research in Third World Countries, established in 1990. But then we transformed that into a journal. It used to be a book series, now it's a journal, and Third World is not anymore is a good term to use. So therefore, now it's called Accounting Emerging Economy. So far we published 10 volume for this journal. Now, quickly, I know a lot of people are interested. Okay, how is this journal is ranked? How is this, compared with other competitive journal? At the moment, this journal is ranked by ABS, Australian ranking outlet, the Norwegian ranking outlet, South African ranking outlet. So in some cases, they are in the same group of, say, British Accounting Review. In some cases, it is below that group. So we also listed on the Scopus. We have a citation score now. We are now recently being indexed in so Emerging Citation Index by Social Science Citation Index. So I think we're progressing very well. We welcome articles, especially from Africa, actually. We don't have much from African continent. We'll be very interested to have article from that continent. Also, we encourage people to submit in using both kind of methodology, qualitative, quantitative, we don't care, as long as that's the article contributing to the literature. Yeah, I'll stop here now. I'm sure that if you have any question on the review process and things like that, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. And I think I'm just looking at the time to see that everybody speaks. Steven, you'll be speaking for Accounting Forum? Okay, so let's quickly have Professor Steven speak for Accounting Forum, and then we see if we have time left to take questions. If not, we may just defer the questions to our next networking session, and then I'll have the editors come around and then talk to people.
Right. Thank you. I won't be too long. I think we've covered. I hope the audience can probably get a message that we are trying to offer. It's almost a buffet in eating terms, but it's a buffet of different interests, special issues, different journals that we think would be of interest to different types of colleagues, early career colleagues or colleagues that are perhaps a bit more established. Or so there are different. Some of them overlap inevitably, but that's normal. That's what happens in there's always a little bit of overlap on things. But I just wanted to therefore highlight this special issue that I'm doing with colleagues at Essex. And Philip at University of Guelph. So this is Accounting Forum special issue, and whilst the other journals that have been presented by various colleagues kind of have a focus on emerging economies or a focus on Africa more specifically, this special issue is more on the topic of what we call non-financial reporting regulation. In other words, what we are saying is, in parallel to the developments of IFRS and financial reporting regulation around the world, the spread of accounting regulation, financial reporting regulation across the world, we are seeing a new pattern, a new development, which is the spread of non-financial reporting regulation. So going beyond perhaps voluntary forms of reporting that companies may be doing, not just companies, by the way, but all types of organizations, there are also developments going on at the same level globally and regionally and continent-wise and so on and so forth. One good example, not to waste too much time, but one good example is this the EU non-financial reporting directive. So there's a non-financial reporting directive, the EU non-financial reporting directive, which now is in place for companies in the EU to report on non-financial aspects. There's a requirement for reporting. So of course, it's not just the EU. We think there are many, many countries around the world, many regions around the world that are starting to develop the same idea. India, for example, has been an example. There's some examples in China. So the call is around the topic of non-financial reporting regulation, wherever it may be happening. Whether it's happening in South Africa, whether it's happening in other parts of Africa, we're also interested to hear from what we call sometimes local kind of reactions and local developments. So maybe this is coming, maybe many of these things are also happening from a local standpoint. So we would really like to see if there's any kind of insights on non-financial reporting. I've put in the call, which is all on the link. So all the links are in the program. You can click on the link and you will get to a special issue website, and all the others are the same. All the other special issues are the same. So there are some topics here. We are looking to do a workshop online at the start of 2021. And then you can see here, there's you can email an email account to communicate if you want to submit an abstract to be considered. So we'll have a workshop at Essex Business School online. I can definitely, it'd be great to have you there, but I think it'll have to be online. And then we will, this workshop can be useful to give feedback, although it's not a requirement, but it will help you to give feedback. The deadline is June 2021. And of course, you're welcome to email me and the other issue editors to have any comments on this point. Okay, I hope I wasn't too long.
Oh, thank you, Prof. You've done justice to the time. Good, so let's have...
I think you have one more, isn't it?
Yes, I know. Yeah, that's about the one. I think if we still have time left, we will be able to take additional ones. But I think Professor Pawan will speak to this, I suppose. Please unmute. Okay, perfect. So
yes, I'll try to be in a brief. I'll share the screen probably. So we have a special issue on the Journal of Public Budgeting, Accounting and Financial Management, and this special issue is titled Publicness, Accounting and Budgeting in Emerging Economics. We have 4 guest editors for this special issue: Professor Callum, myself, Professor Stephen, and Professor Steven. This Journal of Public Budgeting, Accounting and Financial Management is this US-based journal and around for a long time. In the UK, it is ranked this say, how is it, this second level journal or 2-star. And in this special issue, we are targeting scholars, especially from Asia and Africa. And then you see this special issue covers a wide range of topics. For instance, giving understanding of this publicness in emerging economic context, or the relationship between accounting, budgeting, or accountability. Or also, we are also interested to see how public sector accounting is implicated in for instance, let's say in the sustainable development, achieving sustainable development goal, big data, digitalization of public services, new public governance, corruption, indigenous accounting practices, etc. At the same time, we also want to see paper which are some sort of critical paper underpinned by theoretically underpinned paper are also welcome in the special issue. And as you see, the deadline for the paper is the last of this year, and it goes to the normal journal submission procedures. We'll send it to reviewers like a normal submission. And if you have any queries or about the special issues or paper development, you can contact me or any of the editor board member. And as I mentioned, we have specially prioritized scholars from Asia and Africa. So the editorial team is very happy to provide preliminary feedback. They say if someone would like to submit a paper and they would like to know about whether it meets the quality to send for review or not, or if they want any feedback before submission, we are happy to provide the feedback. And for instance, let's say some scholar, if they don't have some access to the resources or they need some help from senior colleague, then indeed, of course, we can't guarantee, but we are happy to provide happy to search for mentors for those scholars who need access to resources, or they want some senior colleagues to help in developing the paper. So we look forward to receiving a paper from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Pawan. And quite a lot of questions coming through. Maybe I'll take one or two before we leave to the next breakout session. One key thing I would like to mention is what I'll do, I'll please request that all editors be available for the next virtual networking, and then we'll take more practical questions with regards to how early career researchers can, start getting into journals and publishing well, particularly those in Africa. So what is the most pressing question? There's quite a lot. One I saw earlier on was to Professor Steven, and it says, how often do you publish the African Accounting and Finance Journal? Just with one answer. I don't know that answer. So Professor Steven, if you can just give that answer quickly.
Yes, the journal publishes 2 issues in a year. So
Perfect.
We provide 2 issues in a year. Yeah.
Okay, I can read this to you. Corporate governance special, will that take papers from finance or any discipline, as long as papers addresses corporate governance and SDGs in Africa? And that will be particularly to, is it Professor Musa?
Actually, it's me responding to a question. We can take papers from finance as long as you are doing corporate governance and there are SDGs in Africa. If you are in finance, as you might recall, corporate governance is basically interdisciplinary anyway. So you should be able to, if you want.
Right. So just to give our French audience a bit of a glimpse, Philip, would you just probably give a wrap up? Generally, on this, that I think we've got a limitation that not all the journals have French option. So, but if you can just say something to the French people, that would be good.
Ok, bonjour à nouveau. Vous pouvez m'entendre? Je ne sais pas si je suis sur le mode mute ou pas.
Non, c'est bon.
Ok. Bonjour à nouveau. Bon, je crois que la revue qui est d'intérêt ici, c'est la revue AFA, parce que toutes les autres revues et les éditions spéciales sont en anglais. Mais toutefois, si vous pouvez soumettre des articles en anglais pour être considérés, je crois qu'ils seront considérés. Mais au niveau de la revue AFA, il y a une question qui a été posée par rapport au nombre de publications par année. Et l'éditeur a dit qu'il y a 2 publications par année. Et comme je disais, pour la plupart des autres revues, les considérations sont exclusivement en anglais. Et bon, et si vous considérez publier ou rédiger en anglais ou avec co-auteur des articles en anglais avec d'autres, ils seront également considérés. Donc, je crois que c'est l'essentiel de ce qui est dit jusque-là. Il y a une édition spéciale sur la gouvernance d'entreprise et qui porte sur la gouvernance d'entreprise. Il y a aussi sur la responsabilité sociale et environnementale et ça porte sur les ODD. Et une édition spéciale sur le reporting, la régulation des reporting non financiers. Et puis finalement, il y a une édition spéciale aussi qui porte sur le budget et les finances publiques en Afrique, dans les pays en développement, donc dans l'Afrique. Donc je crois que c'est la plupart des éditions spéciales qui sont présentées. Et comme je dis, à l'exception de l'AFA, les articles devant être considérés ne seront qu'en anglais. Donc, voilà l'essentiel. Je crois qu'on est à quelques minutes de la session qui suit. Et comme je suis modérateur de session, je vais me retirer pour aller m'organiser. Donc, à tout à l'heure. OK, Yinka, it's good.
All right, thank you so much. So we're going to leave it here. What I'm going to do, so the next virtual networking session is at 12 GMT. I will make that networking session. I'll break them into room based on the different journal editors. If you're available, then I'll create a room where people can go and talk to you specifically. Is that okay? If we're fine with that, if I get a thumbs up? Good, man. So that means we can do that during the next networking and people can go into specific rooms to ask questions about that particular journal and how to get published in it. I need chairs to start getting the room set up, but before that, I have Professor Teven to say something, then we can.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. We've got some good comments and some good constructive points about what other type of topics that needs to be covered. And we're certainly very keen to do that. Often it's a kind of a demand, how the demand comes rather than anything else. So, but I'm perfectly happy to investigate further to provide a wider range. You know, that's a good